The throne room of Dravakar, the eternal flame, stretched across 300 meters of polished obsidian, its ceiling lost in perpetual shadow. For 6,000 years, the Dragon Emperor had ruled the Convergence, a dominion spanning 47 star systems and countless species. His scales, each the size of a human torso, shimmered with the light of dying stars, and his eyes held the cold calculation of eons. Today, like every tribute day for the past millennium, representatives from across the empire brought their offerings. "Your Eternal Majesty," the Velkarian ambassador began, his forearms trembling as he presented a chest. "We offer the heart of Nebula 9, a gem formed in the core of our system's oldest sun." Dravakar's massive head tilted slightly. One claw, sharp enough to cleave through battlecruisers, tapped the gem. It shattered into worthless dust, rejected. The word echoed like thunder. The ambassador fled. Next came the synthetics of Cluster Omega, bringing computational matrices that could predict futures across 10,000 timelines. Dravakar incinerated them with a dismissive snort of flame. The pattern continued. Rare metals from the Forge worlds, living artwork from the Aesthetic Collective, weapons capable of destroying planets. All rejected, all found wanting. The Dragon Emperor had seen everything, conquered everything, and been offered everything. Nothing impressed him anymore. Nothing moved him. The Chamberlain's voice cracked as he announced the final tribute. "Your Majesty, the human delegation from Terra Station." Dravakar almost laughed, a sound that would have leveled buildings. Humans. The newest addition to the Convergence, barely a century into space travel. What could they possibly offer that elder races spanning millennia could not? The human diplomat, a nervous woman named Chen, approached with careful steps. Behind her walked a small figure clutching something to her chest. "Great Emperor," Chen began, her voice steady despite her fear. "Humanity understands we have little that could match the treasures you've seen, but we wanted to express our gratitude. You see, last year, when the plague ships threatened our colony worlds, you sent your fleet. You saved 17 million lives, including the children of Orphanage Station 7. Dravakar remembered. A minor deployment. The plague ships had been pirates, nothing more. He'd destroyed them because they'd violated convergence law, not out of any particular concern for humans. One of those children wanted to thank you herself," Chen continued. "This is Erin Solon." The small human stepped forward. She couldn't have been more than 8 standard years old, with tangled brown hair and a patched jumpsuit that had been mended a dozen times. In her hands she held a piece of paper, actual paper, a material so primitive most species had abandoned it millennia ago. Erin looked up at the mountain of scales and fire that was Dravakar, the eternal flame. She should have been terrified. Every other being in the throne room was frozen in fear, but Erin simply smiled. "Hello, Mr. Dragon Emperor," she said, her voice small but clear. "I made this for you." She held up the paper. It was a drawing, created with what appeared to be colored wax sticks. The artistry was objectively terrible. Crude lines, incorrect proportions, colors that bled outside their boundaries. It showed a massive red dragon breathing fire at tiny black ships, while stick figures with huge smiles waved from a space station. At the top, in wobbly letters, it read, "Thank you for saving us." At the bottom, she'd drawn a heart with "From Erin" written inside. The throne room fell absolutely silent. Dravakar stared at the paper. His ancient mind, which had contemplated the mathematics of dimensional rifts and the philosophy of extinct civilizations, struggled to process what he was seeing. It was worthless. Objectively, utterly worthless. The materials cost nothing. The execution was poor. Any species in his empire could produce better art with their eyes closed. And yet, when had anyone last thanked him? Not feared him, not tried to appease him, not calculated an advantage in pleasing him. When had anyone simply appreciated him? The drawing showed him as a hero. In Erin's simple lines, he wasn't the terrifying emperor who had burned worlds. He was the good dragon who protected people, who saved children. Something shifted in Dravakar's chest, a sensation he hadn't felt in thousands of years. His massive claw extended, and with a delicacy that shocked every observer, he took the paper from Erin's small hands. It looked impossibly fragile between his talons, each capable of crushing starships. "You made this?" His voice rumbled softer than before. Erin nodded enthusiastically. "Yes, I worked really hard on it. I wanted to make the fire look really cool because your fire is the coolest, And I drew all my friends because you saved them too. That's Marcus and Jenny and Bo. And she continued chattering, pointing at various stick figures, completely unaware that she was doing what no being had done in millennia, treating the Dragon Emperor like a person, not a force of nature. Dravakar listened to every word. When she finished, he carefully, reverently, placed the drawing on the arm of his throne. Then he lowered his enormous head until he was eye level with Aaron, something no one had ever seen him do. "Aaron Solon," he said, his voice carrying across the throne room with a gentleness that made hardened warriors weep. "In 6,000 years I have received tributes of immeasurable value, treasures that could buy solar systems, technologies that could reshape reality itself. None of them have ever mattered." He paused, looking at the crude drawing. "Until now." His head turned to address the assembled crowd. "Let it be known across the Convergence, this tribute is accepted. It shall be preserved in the Imperial Archives, given a place of honor above all others, and humanity shall be granted special protections under my personal seal." Chen gasped. Such protections meant no other species could threaten them without facing Dravakar himself. But the Dragon Emperor wasn't finished. He looked back at Aaron. "Thank you, small one, for reminding me why I built this empire in the first place. Not to be feared, but to protect. You have taught an old dragon a lesson he had forgotten." Aaron beamed. Then, in a move that would become legend, she rushed forward and hugged his massive snout. The throne room held its breath. Dravakar, the eternal flame, destroyer of fleets, conqueror of worlds, closed his eyes and accepted the embrace. From that day forward, the Dragon Emperor kept the drawing beside his throne. Ambassadors would see it and wonder at its significance, this crude paper treasure among holographic wonders and quantum artifacts. But Dravakar knew its true value. It was the only tribute given not to appease a tyrant but to thank a friend. And that, he had learned, was worth more than all the jewels in the galaxy.